I've been thinking this week about why do bad things happen to people, and I've been thinking about how that relates to my faith. And I was reading that some Christians believe that God ordains all events for a specific divine purpose, and some Christians believe that God allows all events for a specific divine purpose. But when you switch the word events for trauma, suffering, injustice, crime, it doesn't seem to fit for me. So to say that God ordains all suffering or God ordains all trauma for a specific divine purpose, or that God even allows injustice, crime, violence for a specific divine purpose just doesn't seem to fit with my belief in a God who is compassionate, full of mercy, and is motivated by love, who sent his only son for us. That doesn't seem to fit that God ordains. And I was also researching about how power does not necessarily equal control. So we can believe that God is sovereign and all powerful, but that doesn't mean to say that he is then in meticulous control of the universe. I believe that God is sovereign, but I believe also that he has given authority to us as his sons and daughters. And actually, that can be confronting for us. It's much easier to say that God has everything in his hands, and that it's his sovereign will and its sovereign purpose, because then that means that we don't really have to do anything. But actually, that it's confronting because we can't be passive. It moves us out of our inertia, out of our passivity. But it's also incredibly encouraging that we can be part of his answer to injustice, and that we can make a difference. And then I got thinking a little bit more about the nature of evil, and about, I've just been thinking about some of the injustices on our planet, at the moment. And if I'm honest, I got a little bit overwhelmed by it all. And I even started to think, gosh, what is the point when there is so much evil? And I was just thinking about a situation where somebody had faced abuse at the hands of a Christian, a faith figure, and they had talked to somebody about that and they weren't believed. And and it just got me thinking about what is the point. And evil can be so, it can hide, and it can be so that even if somebody has the courage to report what they've been through, and then not to be believed, first of all, they've not been listened to. First of all, they've been a victim of abuse, the injustice of that, and then the injustice of not being listened to, finally having the courage to share. And that just got me thinking. But then I was just really brought back to this beautiful revelation of the fact that God is good, and his goodness is eternal. And we are promised in the Bible that in heaven there will be no more suffering, there'll be no more injustice. It's a perfect place. And even though we see on the earth there is injustice, and there is suffering, and there is pain, because we live in a fallen world, because it's imperfect, we have this hope that we can make a difference on this earth. We don't need to be passive. We don't need to get overwhelmed and to bury our heads under the sand. But we also have this promise that this is not how God intended it to be. It's not how he wants it, and it's not how he intended it to be forever. And that whilst evil is present, it is limited. Like it's not going to be forever. And just this promise that God's goodness is eternal, that's giving me hope. Thank you for listening.